Hi there. Welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class is all about not giving power to the negatives in your life. If it doesn't hold a positive purpose for you, let it go. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify if you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class, coming into easy sit, Sukhasana, facing the top end of the mat, and you're going to lead today with your right leg in front of your left. Just start to find a nice tall seat on your mat. If you'd like to, you could even take a yoga block, prop it underneath your bum, just for some added support as you find a comfortable seat on the mat that you can hold for a couple of minutes. So settle in, relax your hands. Let's just do palms down, cupping the knees gently. Begin to close your eyes. Take your focus inward and begin to relax and lengthen your breathing. At first, just attune yourself to the sound of your breath. Notice the inhalation and the exhalation. Start to soften and relax your shoulders away from your ears. Feel that grounding through your bum bones into the mat. Visualize your crown being tethered by a little piece of string to the sky, giving it length, giving it form. Start to notice the thoughts that are drifting through your mind's eye. If you come across any negative thoughts, notice them, but don't give them any power. In fact, send them to the trash can. Begin to clear the clutter. Begin your practice with more space within. Gently flutter open your eyes, keeping your gaze super soft. Take a big breath in, beginning with your chin line parallel to the floor. And on an exhale, drop your left ear softly towards your left shoulder. Pausing here, taking a little stretch up the right side of your neck. Inhale and bring your chin back to neutral. Big breath in. On the exhale, take a drop off center to the right. Feel that delicious stretch along the left side of your neck. Inhale to come back to the middle. Take a big breath in. And on your next exhale, nod your chin towards your chest and pause here. Releasing that nape of your neck. Inhale to come back. Let's rinse and repeat. Big breath in. Drop your ear to the left. Pause. Take time to drop the right shoulder away from you. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to make your right ear heavy to your right shoulder. Relax both shoulders away from your ears. No tension in your elbows. Inhale to come back to neutral. Take a delicious breath in. And on your next exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Maybe even pausing at the end of your exhale and not taking any air in or out as you practice Kumbhaka Sana, retention of the breath. Bring your chin line back to neutral. Let's do that one last time. Drop your left ear, pause. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Look for that stretch. Release it. Inhale to bring your chin line back to neutral. Big breath in. Exhale to make your right ear heavy to your right shoulder. Relax those arms, relax those shoulders. Inhale, bring it back to neutral. Big breath in. On your next exhale, nod your chin to your chest. And when you run out of exhale, hold for a few soft counts not taking air in or out. Then release back to neutral and begin to trace big Kundalini circles. Start your movement nice and big, almost as if you were floating over one knee, then hooking your chin over the front of the mat, then floating over the other knee. Nice big inhale as you come forward, and exhale as you think of squeezing the ribs in towards your back line on the exhale. Give yourself a few nice big circles here. And then begin to make your circle tighter and tighter so that it feels like you're converging in on a small pin. When it feels like you can't possibly converge in any tighter, sit up as tall as you can, take a big breath in and shrug your shoulders towards your ears on the inhale, exhale to drop. You're going to do that a few times, inhaling to lift, exhaling to drop. Maybe starting to play with more of an audible sound on the exhale. Maybe making an HA type sound as you think of releasing, letting go. The next time you drop your shoulders away from your ears, keep those elbows and those shoulders heavy away from your ears. Take a big breath in as you start to point your chin gently towards the sky, stretching the skin underneath your chin. And then exhaling to nod your chin to your chest. Then drop your fingertips to the mat in front of you. You can widen your knees if you need to. You're going to begin dragging the weight forward onto your knees and then softly dropping back onto your bum. Just playing with that pull of the weight forward, keeping your belly button pulled into center and then dropping your weight back. Starting to rock gently up and down. You're going to use this forward pull to set yourself up in a pigeon line, leading with your right leg in front. So when you're ready, maybe on your next pull, readjust your front leg if you need to. So you can either think knee and ankle in a straight line or heel closer to the perineum, and you're going to slide your left leg back. Taking a moment to just push off nice high spider fingertips. Maybe you're gently swaying the weight side to side, looking for that sense of evenness on the left and the right side of your body. Then take a big breath in, and on an exhale, peek over your right shoulder or the back edge of your mat, coming down nice and equally through the pelvis the whole time. Inhale to bring your chin line back to neutral. Big breath in. On the exhale, you're going to peek over the left shoulder for the back edge of your mat. Keep that sense of evenness through the pelvis. Inhale to come back to neutral, and then drop down onto your forearms, coming into a sphinx-like pigeon. Open up your hands so that there's nice space between each digit, actively pressing your palms and your elbows off the mat. Then let's find our way into a hybrid of Sphinx. You're going to focus on your front leg. You're going to start wiggling the foot out from underneath you and take your knee and your foot out to the side of the room so that you're in half a frog. You can look at that foot if you need to. Think knee and ankle in a straight line. You've knife edged the foot so that your pinky toe is looking up to the sky. You're not collapsing through your shoulders, so the whole time you're holding strong through that Sphinx pose, pushing the mat away from you and getting a delicious stretch into the belly and into the spine. Then start to slide your right leg behind you, legs are in parallel. Begin to float your elbows wide, stacking one palm on top of the other, and relax your forehead down to the back of your hands. Taking a nice deep breath in, we're going to work a modified cobra. Keeping your arms where they are. Pretend you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Start to roll the marble away from you with the tip of your nose and start to gently begin to peel your chest off the mat, keeping your hands and your elbows on the mat as you softly push up into a baby cobra. So stopping just before your bottom rib disengages from the mat. Look for a dropping away of your shoulders from your ears and a beautiful sense of length through the spine. Allow your two hip points to dig gently into the mat. Then start to softly float back down just as gently as you came up. Reconnect the forehead to the back of your hands. Keep your forehead on the back of your hands. And then maybe open up your right knee to the side of the room again, finding that half a frog line. Pause here. Take a couple of nice deep breaths here. Bring your right leg into parallel and then open up that half a frog line on the left this time. The left side might feel slightly tighter than the right because we've had more opening movement on the right, but that's okay. We'll sort it out momentarily. Just take a couple of nice deep breaths here, allowing the back of your hands, maybe those knobbly, knuckly bits, to gently press into your third eye, activating your Ajna chakra, your seat of consciousness. Float your left leg back into parallel, and then start to bring your elbow points closer in towards your rib cage. Place your palms alongside your bosom and push back into a parallel child. So keep those feet in parallel behind you. Think bum tapping to your heels as you take a nice stretch with the arms long and lengthened in front of you. And then on an inhale, come into a kneeling up dog without collapsing through your shoulders and your hips. So strong belly, strong arms. Just take a nice little stretch here. Exhale to push back into child. You're going to play with that oscillation between the child frame and your kneeling up dog. And you're going to find a beautiful, gentle rhythm of your own, making sure that you're not collapsing. So pushing the mat away, nice and strong through your arms, nice and strong through your belly as you find that kneeling up dog. A modified Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Let's do one more. And then we'll ease our way from here into cat-cow. So the next time you start coming through 4-point kneeling, you can readjust your hands if you need to, making sure that they're stacking underneath your shoulders. Start in table. Take a big breath in, coming into a bow frame through your back as you think chin and chest to sky, finding cow. And then exhale to change the shape, hollowing out your belly, rounding out your back. Begin to oscillate dynamically between the cat and the cow. Playing today maybe with a 1-to-2 inhalation to exhalation ratio. So let's say you're inhaling for 3 counts on your cow frame. You're going to double up and you're going to exhale for 6 on the exhale. If your practice is more advanced, you can start building in retention of the breath at the end of your exhalation. So maybe nice big inhale for 3. Then as you start rounding out, pull up your pelvic floor, the Mula Bandha, squeeze in the diaphragm, the Uddiyana Bandha, apply the chin lock, the Jalandhara Bandha, and then maybe retain your breath for 2 or 3 seconds before reversing the lock. So first undo the chin lock, then the diaphragm lock, then the pelvic floor lock. Maybe you want to use a more active and a vocal breath pattern. Play where you're comfortable. Then ease your way into a neutral tabletop line. Somewhere between your cat and your cow, you're going to find your way into down dog by tucking the toes under, beginning to pike your bum up to the sky. And as you settle into your first down dog frame, maybe give me a forward-facing knee pedal. So bending one knee, extending the other. We're not taking it into Svananda, so we're keeping that forward pedal today. Just trying to open up, relax, and release any tightness along the back chain of the leg. Seat it, let it go. Then maybe holding your down dog stretch, so trying to bear down as best you can on both heels. Thinking crown nice and heavy to the mat. Nose almost peeling through your hands as if it wanted to tap your knees. Bum piped up nice and high to the sky. Take a big breath in and then look towards your feet. Cross your right foot behind your left and pause here, just taking a little stretch. Ooh, you're going to feel that delicious opening on the left. You can even wiggle side to side if you need to. Let's do that on the other side. Come back to your down dog and cross the left leg behind the right. Take a little wiggle if you need it. Ease your way back into your full down dog. Maybe coming onto the tips of your fingers if you need the additional room, or you can keep those hands flat if you prefer. You're going to take little steps forward, playing with a bent and then an extended leg line. Come into parallel and then dynamically begin bending and extending the legs. Maybe both of your hands are on the floor. Maybe they're on your shins. Maybe they're on the top of your thighs. Play where you're comfortable. And then look towards your feet and see if you can begin heel-toeing them out, coming into the gentle plie-like line. So feet are softly splayed out at 45 and you're still bending and extending through the knees. Maybe your fingertips are on the floor, or maybe you need to work higher up along the chain and maybe just find a resting spot on the top of your thighs as you allow those knees to splay out and come back. Just find what works for you. And then if the pelvis is released enough, just take it into a deep squat line. Maybe keeping your fingertips on the mat today. Maybe taking your fingers nice and wide and just using the back of your arms to gently push open on the inner thighs. If you need to, you can rock that weight side to side. You're going to feel that delicious opening up into the groin area. Come to stillness along the midline. You're going to keep your right leg where it is. Maybe placing your hands in parallel and stepping your left leg back into a high lizard. Just pause here. Think of making your whole trunk and your whole pelvis just sink down towards the mat. Hold the frame steady. Breathe. Watch that you're not collapsing through your shoulders. Look for that tightness on the inseam of the right leg, and then just seat it, let it go. Ease your way back into the deep squat line from here. So step up the left leg. Maybe you want to bring the tips of each finger together, so you're pushing off the pads of your fingertips, and you're still using the back of maybe your tricep or your elbow to prise those knees further apart. Make those bum bones both nice and heavy towards the mat. We're going to ease our way from here into a staff-like seat. So when you're ready, maybe place the fingertips on the mat behind you. Make sure you've got enough runway in front of you and begin to extend the legs out in front. Give them a little shake out if you're feeling any tightness or any pinch in the groin area. We're going to open up the legs and have them maybe just inside of hip-width distance apart. Interlace your hands and think of hugging the energy in towards your chest on an inhale. Then on an exhale, invert your hands, push them away as you give me a little L lean forward, stretching your lower and your mid back. Inhale to hug the energy back in towards your chest as you sit up nice and tall, shoulders over hips. Exhale to L lean forward and push the energy away. Start to play with that inhalation and that exhalation and that gentle forward sawing-like motion through the body. Every time you fold forward, Maybe try to reach a little bit further past your tootsies. Maybe beginning to play with an audible breath pattern. Keep those elbows nice and high. Maybe ending long and extended, maybe framing your ears, or maybe looking for an opportunity to hook your interlaced hands around both sets of feet and maybe dropping your nose or your chest closer towards your knees. If this is not a possibility for you, just stay up taller on the mat and just think of framing your ears on either side and trying to get as much stretch through your middle and your lower back as you can comfortably manage. Then lead your way from here gently into a soft butterfly line, bringing the soles of the feet together, opening up your knees, placing your fingertips on the floor behind you. Start to scooch your perineum closer towards your heels. Make your knees nice and heavy. Try to keep your big toes, your heels, and the balls of your feet maybe together. You can allow for a little bit of space between the arches of your feet. Then begin to extend the right leg, aim it for the front corner of your mat and place the sole of the left foot on the inseam of the right leg. You're going to give me a soft little forward fold, maybe just fingertips to floor. Then start to peel back up, start to bring the left knee up, twist towards it, hug the knee in towards your chest as you look over the back edge of your mat and ground your front foot. Then begin to play between the two frames. Come back into your modified gait, giving me a soft little forward fold, maybe starting to reach towards your toes. And then begin to twist as you think knee to sky, foot grounded on the left. So playing between your modified head to knee, Janu Sirsasana, and your little modified Mariachi-asana, a little seated spinal twist. Just begin to find a gentle rhythm of your own. Exhaling as you fold forward. Inhale to transition. Exhale to twist. Find a beautiful innate rhythm of your own. End in the twist, hold it. We're going to try to bring ourselves into a half lotus line from here. Begin to relax your left knee to the floor, tucking the heel in as close to the perineum as you can. Relax that leg. Then start to bend your extended leg, maybe reaching for the foot, trying to take your heel and tuck it as close to the inside of the opposite hip bone as you can, resting the top of your right foot on the left thigh, and then just wiggle around, trying to get the weight through your trunks and your pelvis coming down equally into the floor. Take a big breath in, and then start to twist towards your top leg, so towards the right leg, and push opposite hand to thigh or opposite hand to knee, using the fingertips of your other arm to just gently connect to the mat behind you and assist you in keeping a nice long line through the spine. Ardha Padmasana, half lotus, with a nice little twist. Then as you start to undo your trunk, take your right hand, reach for your right foot, maybe wrapping around the undercarriage of your right foot, or you could maybe take a big toe lock. And then you're going to extend out into a little heron stretch. If you can't connect to the toe or the undercarriage of your foot and hold, maybe you could take a strap or a towel, loop it around your foot and enable that. And that might enable you to keep the leg extended. So a nice little modified heron, Crouchasana, keeping that sense of lengthening through the body the whole time. Stay here or use this as an opportunity to come into a little V boat, maybe tipping the weight off your tailbone, start to reach for the undercarriage or the big toe of the other leg, and open up both legs into a nice little V. Keep pulling up an imaginary zip from your pelvic floor towards your waistline. From here, you're going to find your way back into Sukhasana, your original seat on the mat, this time left leg in front of right. Find your seat. Make sure that the weight is coming down evenly. Relax your hands, palms down to the tops of your knees. Big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, make your left ear heavy towards your left shoulder. Pause in a stretch. Inhale for the center line. Exhale to drop your right ear. Inhale to bleed back. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Inhale, peel back to neutral. Exhale, drop your left ear. Inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, drop your right ear. Come back to neutral. Big breath in. Nod your chin to your chest on your next exhale. Let's do that one more time before we play with our Kundalini circles. Drop your left ear. Come back to center. Drop your right ear. Come back to center. Big breath in. Exhale to nod your chin to your chest. Find a comfortable neutral chin line and then begin to trace your Kundalini circles anti-clockwise this time, so towards your left knee. Nice big inhale as you circle forward over the knees, and then as you exhale, almost hollow out your body, thinking chest squeezing all of the stale air out of your body before you begin your circle again on the inhale. Start those circles nice and big. Maybe you even want to bring a little release into the shoulders if you're feeling tightness, so you can wiggle and drop those as well if you need to. Then start to tighten up your circle, starting to converge in towards the midline. Once you're as tight as you can go, sit up nice and tall and start to play with those shoulder drops. Big breath in on the inhale, hugging both shoulders towards your ears. Exhale to drop away. Maybe starting to play with a nice little rapid shooting breath. Last one, big breath in. As you drop your shoulders away from your ears, start to take a big breath in as you start to point your chin up towards the sky, stretching the skin underneath your chin. On an active exhale, nod your chin to your chest, and when you run out of exhale, hold or retain your breath for a few soft counts. Kumbhakasana. Bring your chin line back to neutral. Place your fingertips on the mat in front of you and begin to drag your weight forward onto the knees and then sit back onto your bottom. Start to gently rock your body back and forward. Repositioning the feet underneath you so that you can comfortably roll underneath, so that you can comfortably roll over them without hurting yourself. Think about how you're going to use this forward rolling motion to set yourself up in a pigeon line. So when you're ready, on your next roll forward, reposition the front leg if you need to, and begin to extend the other leg behind you. Start to gently play with the body weight. So maybe it's a side to side rock, maybe it's a forwards backward motion, maybe it's something between the two. Start to even out the weight on the left and the right side of the body, maintaining high little spider fingers. So you condition your fingers and your hands and your wrists by pushing off your fingertips. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, peek over your left shoulder for the back edge of your mat. Inhale to come back to center. On the exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale to peel back towards the center line. Take a big breath in, and when you're ready, on the exhale, drop down onto the forearms, coming into a sphinx-like hold without collapsing, so you're pushing away from the mat the whole time. Then try to reposition your front leg. So start to wiggle walk the left foot out from underneath you, starting to open up into half a frog line on the left. So look at that leg. Think knee and ankle in a straight line. Big breath in. Start to float your chin up to the sky on a nice long inhale, but try to keep those shoulders as soft as you can. On the exhale, nod your chin to your chest, and when you run out of air, retain your breath for a moment or two. Do that maybe twice more in your own time. You can play with an audible breath pattern if that works for you. When you're ready, you're going to bring your chin line into neutral. You're going to slide your half a frog on the left back into parallel. You're going to begin to allow your elbows to track wide, stacking one palm on top of the other as you relax your forehead to the back of your hands and just take a recovery breath or two. Then look for that imaginary marble underneath your nose. Start to roll it away from you, keeping your elbows and your hands where they are. Start to push off your elbow points as you bleed up into a modified baby cobra, stopping just before your bottom rib disconnects from the mat. Try to use your back extenders to hold the cobra frame, Bhujangasana. Then peel softly back down to the mat. Relax your forehead to the back of your hands. Keep your forehead connected to the knobbly bits of the back of your hand and start to open back up into a half a frog line on the left. Think knee and ankle trying to stack in one long line. And just pause here, making your whole trunk nice and heavy into the mat. Nice deep inhalations and exhalations. Then bring your legs back into parallel and open up into half a frog line on the right. Just focus on that nice deep breath work. Make your whole trunk nice and heavy into the mat. Allow for that gentle pressure into the third eye. Lead your legs back into parallel. Start to float the two elbow points in closer towards the body line and push back into a parallel child. So think bum to heels, arms nice and long and extended, maybe tapping your forehead to the mat as you push back into child, Balasana. Then come into a kneeling up dog, nice and strong through the arms, nice and strong through the chest and the tops of your thighs. Take an awesome stretch here into the lower belly and then begin to play dynamically between your sit back into child and your pull through over the wrists into your modified kneeling up dog. Let's do one more push back into child before we find our way into cat-cow. So the next time you think of coming into 4-point kneeling, slide your hands back slightly if you need to ensure that you're in a comfortable 4-point kneeling position with your hands stacking under your shoulders. Begin in a neutral tabletop line. Take a big breath in, hollowing out your back as you find your cow. And then begin to exhale and start to double up on your exhalation. So start to work at a 1 to 2 inhalation to exhalation ratio. Maybe starting to use your bandhas and your locks. So as you round out into cat, pull up the pelvic floor, then the diaphragm lock, then the chin lock. At the end of your exhale, maybe retaining or holding the breath for 1 or 2 more counts. Just find a gentle rhythm of your own. And if your practice is advanced, begin to work at a 1 to 2 to 2 inhalation to exhalation to retention ratio. So if you're inhaling for a count of 3, you're going to exhale for 6, and then retain your breath for 6. Maybe looking for an opportunity to close your eyes and make your practice more inward focusing at this stage. Then find stillness somewhere between your cat and your cow and find your way into a down dog frame. Working maybe with a pedal at first, a forward facing knee pedal. Starting to let go of that tightness along the back chain of your legs. Then holding your stretch. Making nice piped up bum. A cute almost triangular frame between the arms and the legs. Take a big breath in and look towards your feet. Cross the left foot behind the right and pause here. Look for that delicious stretch up the back chain of the right leg. Then change sides. Crossing the right leg behind the left. Pausing here in the stretch, trying to anchor through the whole foot on the left. Ease your way back into your down dog, seeing if those back chains of the legs are sufficiently released so that you can get a total drop down through the feet. Maybe staying on your palms or coming onto the tips of your fingers and begin to take little bendy steps forward. Stopping with your feet stacking underneath your hips, begin to bend and extend. Maybe hands on the floor or higher up along the chain of your legs. So you're almost thinking Chandra Uttanasana here, nice little soft forward fold. Then start to look towards your feet and start to heel turn them out, coming into more of a plie drop down. So allowing the feet and the knees to now look to the side of the room as you begin to drop down deeper and deeper, closer towards the floor. When it feels like your inner thighs are released enough, drop down into deep squat, Malasana. Maybe pushing off your spine and fingertips and using the back of your arms to prise those inner thighs open. Maybe you're shifting the weight side to side. Or maybe you're good to go here and you can just drop the weight down through your bum bones and hold. Then keep your line on the left and step back the right leg. Placing both hands on the mat and just holding a high lizard line here. Try to make your trunk and your pelvis just nice and heavy to the floor. Keep sending energy out through the heel of your extended back leg. A modified lizard, Uttanasana. And then we'll ease our way back into that deep squat. Maybe this time pushing off the tips of your fingers. So each finger finds its partner. You've got nice space between each finger and you're actively pushing off the pads of your fingers. We're going to ease our way into our staff-like seat from here when you're ready. Dandasana. So when you're ready, float the hands behind you. Make sure you've got enough runway for your legs if you're on the tall side. Give them a little shake out if you need it. Start to find your high seat by beginning to gently squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together and start to pull up an imaginary zip. Interlace your hands, hug the energy in towards your chest. On an inhale and then on an exhale, push the energy away as you reach past your toes. Begin to play with that almost modified seesaw action, getting me an L lean forward and then coming back into your high seat. So you're not tipping off the center line today. You're starting and stopping in staff and then just getting me a little L lean forward. Maybe playing with an active breath pattern. Then maybe looking for an opportunity to see if you can get a hook over those feet. You could even bring those feet flush along the midline if that makes the hook more accessible to you. And then hold here. Wiggle around if you need to get a release. Feel for those tweaks, those areas of tightness maybe along the back. Release them, let them go. Don't allow the tightness to hold power over your body. Then take a nice deep breath in and start to float back up into a high seat, easing your way into a gentle butterfly line, soles of the feet together, knees open nice and wide, fingertips on the mat behind you. Start to walk your perineum closer towards your heels. Look at your feet. Think big toes together, maybe balls of the feet together, heels of the feet together. And just begin to make your knees heavy to the floor. Don't force your body to open. Just allow the breath to make those knees nice and heavy. Then begin to extend your left leg and aim for the left front corner of the mat. Place the sole of your right foot on the inseam of your left leg. Sit up nice and tall, bum bones are still equally weighted. On an exhale, fold forward. On an inhale, peel up. Start to bring your right knee up, ground your right foot, and then hug that whole right limb in towards your chest, coming into a seated spinal twist. Start to play dynamically between your forward fold and your twist. Just looking the whole time, being cognizant of any areas of tightness in the body. If you do find a knot of tightness, pause there, try to hold, try to relax through that tightness. Every time inhaling to transition and then exhaling when you come into the forward fold, and then exhaling when you come into the twist. So use your inhale as your transition. Let's end in a twist. So you're hugging that knee in towards your twist in your modified Mariachi Asana. And then think about how you're going to find your way into a half lotus line from here. Start to untwist your trunk. Relax the right knee down, but tuck the heel in as close to the perineum as you can. Then start to bend your left leg, reach for the foot. Try to tuck that heel in as close towards the inside of the opposite hip as you can. Wiggle around. Think weight nice and equal through the pelvis and the hips. Take a big breath in, looking for that sense of length through the spine. And on the exhale, twist towards your lead leg, pushing opposite hand to thigh. And just sit up as tall as you can in the twist. Ardha Padmasana, half lotus. Gently begin to untwist. You're going to reach for your top foot. You can maybe take a big toe lock by using your middle index finger and thumb, or you can just wrap your hand around the ball of the foot or the undercarriage of the foot coming into Heron, Crouchasana. Just using the fingertips of the other hand to just prop your frame up nice and tall. And then use this as an opportunity to bleed your way into a boat line, reaching for the big toe or the undercarriage of your other foot and coming into a nice V-boat, modification of boat, Navasana. And then when you're ready, you can either end your practice today in Shavasana, corpse pose, by making your way onto the back, or you can find a comfortable seat to end off your practice for today. Maybe just relaxing your hands. Back of the hands either relaxed to your back of your knees if you're in a seated frame, or back of your hands connected to the floor if you're in corpse pose, Shavasana. Close your eyes. Take your focus inward and just begin to soften your whole body, whether you're seated or whether you're lying on the back. Take yourself back to that intention, that sankalpa, that we set at the beginning of the class. To not let the negatives in your life weigh you down. Let go of whatever does not hold a positive space in your life. Give up or cede power to any negativity that might be crippling you. Let it go. It holds no power over you. With that thought, end of your practice today on the words Shanti, peace. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed today's class. Till next time, keep it light.